Okay, so we're back for another deep dive.
Yeah,
And, I think we both know this is something that, like, a lot of people ask about.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It comes up all the time.
Yeah, so how to speak English fluently, but really, like, more quickly,
Right.
right? And I think, whether you're, listening and you're learning English for work, or you're planning, like, some big adventures traveling the world,
Mm,
or just, because you love the language,
right.
I think, what we want to do today is really try to give some practical strategies that you can use,
That you can use right away.
right away, yeah, and really, like, get you to sound more natural and confident when you're speaking English.
Yeah. And I think that's the key. It's that confidence piece
Yeah.
because a lot of times people will learn all these words and, they'll have all this knowledge, but then when it comes to actually, putting it out there,
Yeah.
they freeze up and they get,
Oh, I get
well,
nervous.
yeah, they get in their head about it.
Yeah.
And it's really about getting out of your head and just letting the language flow.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, it's not just about, like being a walking dictionary, right?
Right.
It's really about how do you connect with other people and share your ideas.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's just jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Our first strategy is this idea of thinking in English.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for a lot of you listening, I know this might seem like, a big step.
Yeah, it can feel daunting.
Yeah, especially if you're used to translating everything in your head.
And that's a really common, first step for language learners. I mean, it's the natural inclination is to go back to your native language
Right.
and use that as like the bridge, right, to translate everything over.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that actually creates a mental traffic jam
Okay.
because you're adding this extra step
Yeah.
between what you're thinking and what you want to say.
It's like a middleman.
It's a total middleman.
Yeah.
So it's slowing everything down.
It's like trying to have a conversation, through a translator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In real time.
In real time, that would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do you start, shifting towards thinking directly in English?
Yeah. What's like a real concrete way that people listening can try to do this?
So one really actionable technique is to start narrating your daily activities
Okay.
to yourself
Okay.
in English.
Just in your head.
Just in your head, yeah.
Like a little voice.
Like a little voice.
Right.
Like imagine you're doing a voiceover for your own life.
I love that.
Yeah. So, keep it simple. Like right now, you might be thinking, I'm listening to a podcast about learning English.
Okay.
Or, if you're making a cup of tea, you might be thinking, I'm pouring hot water into my favorite mug.
Right.
So it's these little internal monologues
Yeah.
that really start to make a difference because
Yeah.
they help your brain access the English vocabulary and the certain structures more directly.
So you're not going back and forth. You're not going back and forth exactly. You're bypassing that translation step.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, it's like creating a new pathway,
Okay.
a faster pathway in your brain.
Yeah. I like that a lot, and it feels less overwhelming,
Yeah.
than like trying to have these, super deep thoughts in English.
Yeah, you don't have to start with like philosophy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just start with the everyday stuff.
Yeah, just like, I'm brushing my teeth,
Exactly. I need to buy milk.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be that simple.
Okay, so start small.
Start small.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 minutes a day,
5 minutes a day is a great starting point.
and then just slowly build up.
Yeah, just slowly build up from there.
Okay, I love
The key is consistency.
consistency.
You want to make it a habit.
Okay, so that's tip number 1, thinking in English.
There you go.
Tip number 2, and this is something that sounds really fun to me,
Oh, yeah.
is this idea of like imitating native speakers.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, you're becoming a language mimic. You're mimicking, you're copying. And the great thing about that is our brains are designed to learn through imitation.
Yeah.
When you were a child, you learned so much by watching and copying.
Right.
It's the same thing with language.
Yeah, so what should people be doing here?
So find English language TV shows,
Okay.
movies,
Okay.
YouTube channels,
Okay.
anything where you're hearing native speakers.
Okay.
And ideally, speakers who you enjoy listening to.
Yeah, you like their accent?
You like their accent, you like their style.
Mm-hmm.
And really pay attention to how they're speaking.
Okay.
So not just the words, but the rhythm,
Okay.
the tone,
Okay.
how they connect the words together.
Okay.
And here's what you do. You pause the audio or the video,
Okay.
and you repeat what you just heard.
This is like you're echoing them?
Exactly, like you're echoing them.
Okay.
So pay attention to how they pronounce each word,
Mm-hmm.
where they put the stress,
Okay.
and the speed at which they speak.
Okay.
So for example, If you hear someone say,
Okay.
I'm going to grab a coffee,
Okay.
try saying that out loud yourself.
Okay.
I'm going to grab a coffee.
And you're not just saying the words, you're really trying to copy.
You're copying everything.
Yeah, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Like the intonation.
Yeah, like how relaxed they are when they say gonna.
Yeah, right.
Instead of going to.
It's like you're shadowing, a really skilled athlete.
It is, yeah.
You're trying to learn their moves.
Yeah, it's like watching a dancer.
Yeah.
And trying to copy their steps.
Yeah, and you're really focusing on those subtle movements.
Exactly.
But, in this case, it's your mouth and your tongue and...
It's your voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all those things coming together.
So by doing this, what are you actually, training?
So you're training your mouth muscles to make those English sounds more naturally and more quickly.
Okay.
And you're also internalizing the rhythm, the music, the language, which is super important for sounding fluent.
Okay, so that's tip number 2.
Tip number 2.
Imitate those native speakers.
Find your favorites.
Yeah, exactly.
Have fun with it.
Yeah. Okay, tip number 3. This one kind of shifts gears a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about learning phrases.
Okay.
Not just words.
Not just words. Yeah.
And this just makes so much sense to me.
Yeah, it's very intuitive.
Yeah. Obviously building up a strong vocabulary is super important.
It is the foundation.
Yeah.
It's like the building blocks.
Yeah.
But fluency really takes off.
When you start
thinking in terms of these chunks, these phrases, these combinations of words.
Yeah, it's like language isn't just, individual words that you're stringing together.
It's not like beads on a string.
Yeah.
It's more like these pre-assembled units that native speakers just pull out and use.
All the time.
All the time.
So instead of, learning the word good.
Right.
Separately.
You learn good morning.
Yeah, or good morning, how are you?
Exactly.
As like a single unit.
A single unit of meaning.
Yeah, I love that.
And think about it, like when you're having a conversation.
Yeah.
How often do people say, what's up?
Right.
See you later.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Yeah.
These are phrases.
These are phrases
we use all the time.
Right. And by learning these phrases, you're basically giving yourself these shortcuts.
You are? Yeah, they're fluency shortcuts.
Fluency shortcuts, yeah.
That allow you to respond more quickly.
Yeah.
And sound more natural.
Okay, so how do you actually do this?
So choose a few common phrases every day.
Okay.
Maybe just 3 to 5.
Okay.
And write them down.
Okay.
Say them out loud.
Okay.
Practice them.
Mm-hmm.
And then try to use them.
In real life.
In real life.
Yeah.
In your conversations.
Okay.
Even if it feels a little bit awkward at first, the more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
Yeah, it becomes like second nature.
Exactly.
Okay, I love that tip number 4.
Okay, number 4.
This is something that might seem, a little bit intimidating.
Can be, yeah.
To some people, but it's really important.
It's essential.
You have to speak every day.
You got to speak every day.
Even if you're alone.
Even if you're alone, yeah.
And it's kind of like, that saying, practice makes perfect.
Exactly.
It's really true.
It's so true.
Fluency is like a muscle.
It's like a muscle, yeah.
If you don't use it,
gets weak.
You
got to keep exercising it.
So if you're not speaking every day, that muscle's getting weaker.
Yeah, it's getting rusty.
Okay, but what about people who are listening and they're like, I don't have anyone to talk to?
Yeah, that's a common challenge.
Yeah.
But there are ways around it.
Okay.
One really effective technique, and this might sound strange at first, is talking to yourself.
Okay.
In English.
Just to yourself.
Just to yourself. Okay. Stand in front of the mirror.
Okay.
Just have a chat.
Okay.
You could talk about your day.
Okay.
You could talk about your plans.
Okay.
You could literally talk about anything that comes to mind.
Okay.
So, for example, you could say, okay, today I woke up early, I made a quick breakfast, and now I'm really excited to be learning all these great tips from the deep dive.
Right, and it might feel a little silly at first.
It might feel a little silly.
But it's actually really helpful.
It's super helpful.
Right.
Because you're getting comfortable with the act of speaking.
Yeah, you're forming the sounds, you're making the sentences.
You're putting it all together.
Yeah, and there's no pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah.
Nobody's judging you.
Yeah.
Another great option is to record yourself.
Okay.
Speaking on your phone.
Okay.
And then listen back to it.
So you can hear yourself.
So you can hear yourself, and you can hear, where you might be hesitating.
Okay.
Or using filler words.
Yeah.
Or maybe making pronunciation errors that you weren't even aware of.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, and then as a bonus.
Yeah.
There are so many great apps and websites now.
Yeah.
That connect language learners
Oh, yeah.
with native speakers.
Or language exchange.
For language
Yes.
exchange, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's another fantastic way
Yeah.
to get real conversational practice.
That's a great point.
Yes.
I love those suggestions. Okay, our fifth and final tip.
Okay, bring it on.
This is something that I think a lot of people need to hear.
I think so too.
Don't be afraid of making mistakes.
Oh, this is huge.
It's huge.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Because the fear of making mistakes can really hold people back.
Yeah, it can be paralyzing.
It can be paralyzing.
And it can actually stop people from speaking at all.
Which is the opposite of what you want.
Which is the opposite.
You want to be speaking.
Yeah. So it's really important to remember that mistakes are not a sign of failure.
They're not.
They're a natural part of learning.
You're part of the process.
Yeah, everyone makes mistakes.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Even native speakers.
Even native speakers.
All the time.
All the time.
We stumble over our words.
We say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
We forget words.
Yeah, and we still manage to communicate.
Right.
Right? So fluency really isn't about being perfect.
It's not about perfection.
It's about getting your message across.
Exactly.
Yeah. So can you give me like a quick example of this?
Sure. So imagine someone's trying to say, I went to the store yesterday.
Okay.
But they accidentally say, I go to the store yesterday.
Okay.
Now, good is not grammatically correct,
Right.
but the meaning is perfectly clear.
Yeah.
The person they're talking to understands
So they understand.
that they went to the store
Yeah.
the day before.
So the communication worked.
The communication worked,
Even though,
even though it wasn't perfect.
yeah.
So the point is, don't let the fear of making a mistake stop you from speaking.
Right.
Just keep talking.
Just kept talking.
And those mistakes will naturally start to correct themselves.
Yeah, you'll start to pick up on the right patterns.
Your brain will figure it out.
Yeah.
Trust the process.
Okay, I love that. So just to kind of recap,
Recap again.
our 5 key strategies here
5 keys.
for speaking English more fluently and more quickly.
Let's do it.
Number 1, think in English.
Think in English.
Number 2, imitate native speakers.
Be a mimic.
Yeah. Number 3, learn phrases, not just words.
Those fluency shortcuts.
Yeah, fluency shortcuts. Number 4, speak every single day,
Every day,
even if you're alone.
even if you're alone.
And number 5, don't be afraid of those mistakes.
Don't let them stop you.
Yeah, and I think it's important to, people listening, you don't have to try and do all 5 of these at the same time.
That's right.
Pick 1 or 2
Pick 1 or 2.
that you think, you could really try to focus on.
And that resonate with you.
Yeah.
That you think would be fun
Yeah.
and manageable.
Yeah, and if you're consistent,
Consistency is key.
you should start to notice some progress.
You will.
Within a few weeks, right?
Absolutely. Within a few weeks, you'll start to feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
You'll start to speak more quickly.
Yeah.
You'll start to sound more natural.
And it's not going to happen overnight.
It takes time.
It takes time and it takes effort,
It takes effort.
but it's so worth it.
It's so worth it.
Yeah.
Because it opens up a whole new world
Yeah.
of communication and connection.
So for you listening, what's going to be your first step?
Yeah. What are you going to try tomorrow?
Are you going to try narrating your morning routine in English?
In your head.
Yeah.
Just that little voiceover.
Yeah, or maybe you'll pick, a new phrase.
The new fluency shortcut.
Yeah, a new fluency shortcut and
Yeah.
really try to use it in a conversation.
Yeah. Put it into practice.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about your progress.
You would let us know how it goes.
Yeah, and think about how doing these things can really change your whole experience with English.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about speaking faster.
It's not just about speed.
It's about connecting with people more freely.
Yeah.
Expressing yourself with more confidence.
Yeah.
And really, unlocking, this new level of engagement with the world.
Exactly. It's about opening up a whole new world
Yeah.
through the English language.
Through the English language.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
It's a journey,
Yeah, it really is.
and it's worth taking.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everyone.
We'll see you next time.
See you soon.
Bye.